Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. From the Fan is Joey Wahler. That's right. Last time he was here, he was going in for a hernia. The next day, he was fasting.
Yeah.
So let's hear it. How'd it go? Everything all right?
It went pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, they say the operation was a success, whatever that means.
Like you limped in here and you look in pain now.
Yeah, I'd hate to see what an unsuccessful operation would make you
I
look
think
like.
anyone that knows me would tell you I normally walk a little bit funny. I think the hernia just accentuates it. In fact, you guys had water for me last time.
Yeah.
And I was already in the middle of my fast.
You couldn't do it.
And I'm sitting there looking at the water, and I'm, you know.
You couldn't, I mean, a little water. I've done this before with operations, and clearly, if you want any health tips, come right here.
Yeah.
You take a little water, my God, but we didn't have lasagna.
You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, when they give you these rules and regulations for the operation, they make it seem like if you eat 10 hours before even that the veal parm is going to come shooting up into the surgeon's face in the middle of the procedure.
No, you might get sick. When I went in for my emergency appendectomy, I ate an hour before they put me in.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I didn't die.
Apparently
Clearly,
not.
yeah. It's just such a precautionary thing.
Does it make you think less of my show comedically that Mike, my announcer, thinks Will Smith is a comedic genius?
Listen, anything that Mike says, I find hilarious.
Thank you, buddy.
That's very disturbing.
Maybe it was a joke. That's the thing.
No,
the
I
joke's
meant
on us.
seriously.
Was it a joke, Mike? Please say it was a joke.
I love Arsenio Hall, too.
Now's when you can claim that it was
You
a
love
joke.
Arsenio Hall?
Oh,
Make
yeah.
it better.
Why? Why do you love Arsenio Hall?
He was always, like, super hip. He was a great... I always wanted to be on the early
Wow.
90s.
Direct opposite of hip.
No, but I love the show.
He's got a show right now.
I know. And he's great in the movie.
Pretty hip.
He is hip.
You watch it?
No, but I loved him years ago.
You sound retarded.
No, I think he's awesome. He's a great entertainer.
Oh, my God, Joey, don't you? I mean, what should I do? I think I should fire him.
He's part of the furniture, though, literally. Isn't he actually
right.
stuck to that counter over there?
Well, that's the thing. No one can see the nice kitchen because he's sitting there.
No,
Can I
he
tell you
gets
about
up.
I'm
He gets
sorry.
up
Well,
when
good.
we weigh him.
Can I tell you, by the way, when I come here, I know Artie did the Tonight Show recently and killed. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. And I just want to tell you guys, when I come here, for me, this is like going on the Tonight Show.
Well, that's sad.
When Dan Filato calls to book me on the show,
Like Freddie DeCordova.
it's like Freddie DeCordova calling Charo years ago.
Well,
Exactly.
maybe your career will get better. I'm sure it will. I mean, it's a stepping stone.
I got to iron out the kinks.
Now, thank you. That was very nice of you to say. I mean, do you consider yourself, when you do your sports casting, do you consider yourself a wit? Like, do you try to add humor into whatever you do?
You know, that's a great question because at FAN, one of the places I work, they frown on that a little bit. They kind of like you to play
Do
it
they
straight.
really?
Oh, yeah.
They do. I mean,
What do you do? Updates there? Are you like the Mink Man, Minko?
I do updates, right. And, you know, John Minko, you know,
And he doesn't.
institution.
Minko's a guy.
He's in and
I
out.
know from listening to him. Yeah, no humor, nothing.
His car is double parked outside the whole shift. He's
You're
ready to
right.
roll.
That's Minko.
6 o'clock.
And I don't like that. I like I like humor injected in there. If you're funny.
Well, here's the thing. I'm in kind of a catch-22 because I think the people at the station know that I can be funny from time to time, but the two people that don't like it are the bosses. So what do you do?
What are you going to do? So who's the program director then?
That's Mark Chernoff.
Oh, Mark. I know Mark.
You know Mark.
Every time I do Boomer and Carton, I see Mark.
You know, so you're always in danger.
Yeah.
You know, if you kind of cross the line too much of having Mark come up and say, just no funny.
Listen, George Carlin.
Yeah.
Enough of that.
If we want funny, we'll get Artie.
Right. Well, if I'll squeeze your head if I want something funny to come out. Yeah, he does. True. He does. Well, I guess. Well, so you're being a good employee. That's what you do. But you know, you can in a pinch go to the humor.
I try. I'm a little intimidated when I'm in front of you.
Why?
Because it's like you're playing on someone else's turf.
Well, no. You listen. Just you want to be less intimidated comedically. Just think of Mike liking Will Smith.
Right.
But you're a cool guy. You know, sorry.
So it doesn't come off like I'm intimidated? Is that it?
No, you're nice. Nice guy.
No, you do. You are a witty guy. You come off very witty.
I appreciate that. I think on a serious note, I think I'm still looking for the forum where I can kind of do something like you guys do, mix some sports with some pop culture, whatever the hell pop culture
Well,
is.
here it is.
That?
Do you have any pop culture stuff you want to talk about?
Well,
Here's the forum.
Well, here's the deal. I was watching the other night the UConn game as they won the national championship.
Right.
I think we're going to get to that. And so during the commercials, we live in this remote control age, right? I'm trying to find something to occupy myself during the commercial breaks. And what do I come upon? Artie, I know you'll get a kick out of this. Battle of the Network Stars.
Wow, they're doing that again?
No,
or is it a repeat from 1980?
The old ones.
I love it.
Wow, my favorite.
I love catching.
I love that.
So you got Howard Cosell doing the announcing. And he's treating it like it's Game 7 of the World Series.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
Hot
absolutely.
sun. Cosell's out there with the ABC gold blazer on, announcing it, stiff as can be.
Patrick Duffy of Dallas is absolutely fired up. Cheryl Teagues is ready for the obstacle course with the cast of Dynasty. John Forsythe, the manager of the... I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gabe Kaplan.
What channel
from
was this
Welcome
on?
Back, Kotter was always one of the captains,
ABC.
right?
Yeah, Gabe Kaplan.
It was always on ABC back in the day.
but
Now
what-
it was on ESPN Classic.
Oh,
They
wow.
ran 3 of them
Love
back
it.
to back. Yeah.
I love that, yeah.
And when I tuned in, perfect time to tune in. They were playing the touch football.
Yeah.
And so here's Cosell doing the play-by-play, and he says, here's Tom Selleck throwing for Charlene Tilton of Dallas. Incomplete. Perhaps Charlene still distracted by her earlier spill in the kayak competition.
That's great. That is amazing.
Great stuff.
Well, listen, I might have told this story on this show, but when whoever was doing research, whatever guy they assigned to research stuff, found this piece of tape, his head probably exploded before he got it to his bosses in time. It was 1978, and it was the Yankees versus the Dodgers in the crew rowing competition. And Rick Monday of the Dodgers was the anchor guy for his team. He screws up and costs his team the competition against the Yankees. The sideline reporter that Cosell throws it to at the time is O.J. Simpson, okay? So O.J. Simpson, young O.J., 1978, he gets Rick Monday. He's going to bust Rick Monday's chops. He says, boy, Rick, you really screwed up that turn there, and you cost your team the win. They both laugh a little bit, and then Rick Monday, I swear to God, pats O.J. on the back and goes, God, O.J., you really go for the throat, don't you? And then they both laugh.
Wow.
You really go for the throat.
Wow.
And then they laughed maniacally. Both of them. That's fantastic. Could you
That's
imagine
unbelievable.
The research guy seeing that, like, oh my God, throwing up his sandwich. You got to see what I just found. You go for the throat.
That's amazing.
God bless him.
Do you remember Circus of the Stars when they would do that? That came after Battle of the Network Stars? Yeah.
Vaguely.
Early 80s. They would do
Vaguely.
Circus. Same concept. You get the network, the sitcom stars.
But it's a circus.
Yeah, but they do circus acts. It was incredibly
I can watch
bizarre,
anything
but-
Lonnie Anderson did.
Yeah, she was in
Lonnie
there.
Anderson.
She was in there. I remember distinctly. Brooke Shields was doing the walking over fire and glass.
Yes.
And she cut the hell out of her face.
Don't hurt yourself,
It was
honey.
but she somehow braved it. Like that stuck in my young mind.
Yeah.
It's
Well-
indelibly painted in there. I mean, and she was bleeding profusely. They probably had to rush her to the hospital.
Joe,
after.
your thoughts?
But she
I was
kept
going to
smiling.
say, I was going to say, you talk about things being indelibly planted in your mind as a young kid. Getting back to Battle with the Network Stars, for me, the highlight, and I'm sure for a lot of other kids my age at the time of the male persuasion, the dunk tank.
Yeah.
You get Valerie Bertinelli in there. I could live off that for about 6 months back in 1980.
Where'd you say? I'm working next week with
Lonnie
Valerie Bertinelli.
Anderson.
I am doing an episode of Hot in Cleveland. We have the week off here, and I got offered a really juicy part on Hot in Cleveland. So I'm doing scenes with Betty White and Valerie Bertinelli.
Wow.
How
And
about that?
I had a childhood crush on her, too. So I get to work with Valerie Bertinelli next week. It's going to be great.
Don't ask me why I know this. Do you know who Valerie Bertinelli lost her virginity to?
Eddie Van Halen.
No, I don't know.
No, they were married. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the actor, but it was the kid who played sort of the
Nicholas
It was the kid who
on 8 is enough.
Adam Reed.
Adam Rich.
Adam Rich.
Adam Rich.
I always remember Adam Rich on 8 is Enough with
Yeah,
the hair.
of course.
I always thought he looked like a young Pete Rose with that hair.
Sort of.
Did.
I could
And
picture
he-
him sliding into third
And he had
head first.
an addiction problem.
Did he?
Go ahead. Well,
Like
well
Pete
not with
Rose.
drugs. Well, Adam was a druggie, and Of course, we know the gambling got the great Pete Rose. But go ahead. What?
Now, Valerie Bertinelli actually in real life lost her virginity to, I don't know the name of the actor, but he was the guy who played one of the kid at the time, who played one of the two, what's the word I'm looking for in golf? The caddies. Played one of the two caddies on Caddyshack, the mean one with the dark hair who's feuding with the guy, the kid
the Italian kid.
The Italian kid.
They say for Italians, it's a skilled labor, you know? That one?
That's the kid. Yeah. He got Valerie Bertinelli, major score.
That is a major score for him.
Back in the day.
I know that kid was like a poor man Scott Baio, if you think about it.
That's right.
Scott Baio's list of broads, forget it. Off the hook.
Listen, my next life.
Every hot blonde you could imagine.
Being Chachi.
Nicole Egger, Pam Anderson, every one of them. He banged.
My next life, I'd like to come back as Scott Baio's,
What?
Well,
just as
what?
Junk.
Mature audiences only, right? But I don't know how far I can go.
You don't want to be someone's junk.
You want to be their. That's a little creepy.
That is, man.
You know.
All day long, staring at the inside of a pair of underwear.
Yeah, you want to come back as Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Can you do
That's
that,
even
though?
creepy. I just want to come back as, anyone other than me.
I'm trying to shoot low.
Is this the stuff that you stifle on your sports reports?
This is exactly the kind of material that
Maybe I can see why.
How much of a loser I am? I want to come back as Jimmy Baio's.
That was
Is
the
there a
brother,
Jimmy
right?
Baio?
Who didn't get nearly
Jimmy
as much
Baio
tail.
played the pitcher in Bad News Bears and Breaking Training. If you remember. Remember Bad News Bears and Breaking Training?
Yeah.
The second one, Jimmy Baio was the pitcher. The
I don't remember
big
that.
one, yeah. Louis Tion. Number one's a fastball. Number two's a curve. Three's a slider. Four's change up. Just yell out change up because nobody cares. Jimmy Baio, that's his best performance by far. But share your thoughts.
I think Jimmy Baio's awesome.
You don't know who he is.
Yes, he is. He's Scott Baio's cousin. He was.
Brother, you jerk off.
No, his cousin.
I think it's his brother. How do you know that for sure?
They definitely.
Do you think he's a genius too?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
It's funnier than Will Smith.
Jimmy Baio.
The caddy's name is Scott Columbi.
That's the actor who plays him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell you what, that is a huge score, man.
Scott Columbi.
It's a huge score.
And especially because
Bertinelli.
Valerie Bertinelli's character on One Day at a Time, if you remember,
tree.
was a virgin.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I bet the guy playing the janitor was buying it. Back after this.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.